Okay, thank you guys for this. The whole reason I set this up was I was starting to get calls from other directors, and some of them I was able to take, some of them I unfortunately haven't had a chance to get scheduled yet. But I was finding a consistent theme in that everybody was asking me the same questions. So when I was chatting with Michelle the other day, I said, you know, do you think, because she was mentioning some other people wanted to know too. I said, why don't we set up a chat and I'll just kind of brain dump what questions you guys have. And then if you have anything more, just know I'm always available. On Messenger, you can message me. We can try, certainly try to set up a call, whatever. But I get so passionate talking about the business that I kid you not, these calls for me go an hour to 2 hours. Ask Michelle. We backed into things the other day and we were on the phone for over an hour. So it's a time saver. With that said, I have a list of questions that several of you gave me that you want to know what I do or what my answers are. They're in no particular order. I plan to put them in a logical order, and unfortunately I didn't have time to do that. And I am going to mute everybody because we do have some background noise. One second. And if anybody does have a question, just simply raise your hand, or if somebody can monitor the chat, I'll just unmute yourself and just talk. That way we don't get any background noise distractions. So one of the questions I received was, how do I do recognition for my team? This is a pretty simple one. I'm going to do a quick screen share because the rest of the questions are pretty deep. So let me get the screen share going. But basically with recognition, your goal is you want to recognize behavior that you want repeated, plain and simple. If you keep that in front of people, it may take some time, but people will jump on board. So here is my organization/team Facebook page. Now, I have my banner here. We are called the Dream Achievers. And most of you are familiar with, Green Team, etc. My goal is to be a senior director team, and I'm hoping to hit that this month. If not, it'll be May, but we're really pushing to do that this month to fill up some of these dream catchers. This is our team. Every month when I change the banner, I leave the basic banner in place. The only thing I change is the green team, but I always put some sort of quote up here to get people thinking and thinking big. Change this quote up every month. Then I have on here what's called our Beat Our Best. Our highest sales we're done is, let me get Rachel in here, make sure I got her. Our highest sales month is 45.5, so that is the goal we want to beat. Our highest month for recruits is 24 recruits. That is the goal we want to beat. Currently, I have what we are currently sitting at for April is 20,003 recruits. Now, what I have here is an incentive pot, 2 incentive pots. Every month that we do not beat our best, I add $5 to these pots. They start at 10 and I add 5 when we don't beat our best. Last month in March, we beat our best. We were previously, I think, at 21 recruits, and last month we had 24. So there was $30 or $35 in the recruiting pot. That in the April team meeting, everybody that recruited, that put in towards this 24 goal, their name was put in a pot. I drew a name, somebody won $35. So that's what this is here. Then recognition, we have the sales promo every month. Typically around the 7th, the first weekend, I will do the post as to who's already earned that sales promotion. I post the sales promotion for the following month, the last week of the current month. But I feel by posting this of who has already achieved and earned the sales promotion within the first week of the month, they deserve a little recognition. Since I've posted this, I think we've had like 9 more just in the last few days earn the sales promo, because this gets people going. They may have not be aware what the sales promotion is. They may have missed my post. This tends to get them going, and it gets kind of others on the team up and going. In the way of recognition too, I do a weekly, what I call consistently active report. Every week I post this. What it is everyone who's active gets their name on here. So it's updated weekly. They get 2 asterisks if they're green by the 15th, which obviously in this month we're not at the 15th yet. So everybody who's on here is green by the 15th. Then the parentheses is how many consecutive months they have been active. My goal is for people to see this and want to be on this list and want to have the highest number over here. In the last couple of months, we've had several hit 12 consistent active months where they were at least 150 or more for the last 12 months. They got a huge recognition, a huge shout out, and a little gift from me for being active for 12 months. This is not a huge incentive. It's basically a visual because people want on this list. As director teams become green, then I write down here what teams are green, because people on here know what team they belong on. If their team is not listed, those people tend to say, hey, we want to get on this list. So this is one thing I do for recognition. And since I started this, probably 14, 16 months ago, somewhere in there, this has really, really helped. Lastly, what I do is, let me scroll down to it real quick. We do our welcome post. In the way of recognition, anyone who does something that is kind of out of the norm, such as Tammy submitted a party over 2,300, I'm going to call that out to let people know, hey guys, right now what's going on, parties are booming, and here's proof of it. And she got a ton of kudos and comments, so people are seeing that. Then I do go live as needed if there's updates from home office or something to be recognized that's out of the norm. But last but not least, in the way of recognition, every month, within the first 3 days of the month, I want to post the stats from the previous month, so people know what the teams and the entire organization did for that month. Obviously, if their name gets on the stat reports, that's recognition for them. It also provides new consultants something to look at to say, whoa, I can do this. Others are doing it. I can do this. So typically my stat report is 4 pages. How I do this is the first page, I always put what our total org sales are. I put how many active consultants there were in the organization. I used to put the number of consultants in the org. Right now we're at 117 in my organization, but that fluctuates so much with drops and new people coming in. It takes too much time. It takes too much time to keep that up to date. So I just, every once in a while, let people know. For example, last month, we were sitting at 90 some odd consultants in the org, and I had an incentive where whoever signed number 100 was going to get a prize as well as the new recruit. We bypassed that. We hit like 109. So at my team meeting, I had a drawing for I announced, excuse me, who the 100th recruit was and the recruiter, and they received a gift. And then, of course, I have the directors here, because what I want consultants to see here is 3 people submitted 24 qualified parties. Qualified parties meaning a party over 200, okay? We all have outside sales. We all have non-qualified parties. And hope my internet says it's unstable. I hope it keeps going. So I want people to see that 3 people here put in 24 parties, 23 people put in 30. So that'll give these people an idea, whoa, we can put in more parties. Then I break each team down, Team Hathaway, Team Kaufman, Team Pagoni, how many active consultants, how many parties, and then to hold us accountable and for transparency, I always put director stats for that team. The leader sets the pace of the pack. And again, you want to recognize behavior you want repeated. Obviously here, Tammy did 8 qualified, this amount. Her people are going to see that and say, whoa, you know, we've got a pretty awesome goal here. We can do this. Then the next page, I always put in then I always recognize $1,000 plus parties, because all these 1, 2, 3, 4 of these people are brand new consultants. My new consultants right off the bat, and I've got 2 more as of yesterday, are putting in 1,000 plus parties. It is just amazing what these new consultants are doing. I always recognize who earned the sales promotion, and I put what it is. Last month it was turn in 750, get the umbrella. I recognize all those people. I always put promotions on here, as well as welcoming the new consultants with who welcomed them, because this is recognition as to who recruited. Then instead of having my 2020 goals on the banner of my team page, I put it on the monthly stat report. Our goal this year is 500,000 in sales, and this is where we are currently at as of the end of March. New consultants and where we were currently at the end of March. So that's what I do in the way of recognition. Also, my new consultants who earn the knife set, I also call them out and post on the page. I don't post on there who won the or who earned the ceramic egg cooker or the 8-inch frying pan, because our culture, to me, to us, to our leaders, it's a given. If the people want to work their business, we will get them to 1250 and 30. Okay, we want that. We want to go over and above the ceramic egg cooker. You know, we want to get to the cast iron set. We want to get to the knife set. And the majority of people who have signed up have hit that knife set within 60 days. Let me just check, make sure I don't have anybody here in the waiting room. Nope, okay. So next question was, why isn't my team or other teams not growing? This is kind of more of a personal question, which I would, love to ask you questions or people questions, well, what are you doing, etc. Let's see what we can do to get your team to grow. You have to know first what you want as a leader personally, because your personal business always comes first. We know that before the team business. Then once you know where you want to go, then you can focus on the team and find the pieces of the puzzle or the people who will get you to where you want to go. I break everything down into baby steps for people. You want to work with the willing, obviously. Now, to give you an example, for incentive trip purposes, okay, this isn't a primary goal, but I want to earn a trip before June 1st so I could be recognized at conference. That's one of my goals. okay? To do that, I have it broken down every month, what I need in the way of points. You know, I get my paid as title, I get my sales points. Every qualified recruit that hits 1250, I get 3,000. And then when I promote directors, I get points. So every month, I know there's a certain amount of people, at least 2 to 4, that I want to qualify to get to 1250. So I'm looking at them and focusing on them and making sure that they've got their calendar in order to hit 1250. Now with incentive points, there's no time requirement on that. They don't have to hit 1250 and 30 or 90. It's whenever they hit 1250, you get that 3,000 points for the trip. Okay, and right now I'm on track, should hit that at the end of the month. And then my next goal, fun goal, these are my fun goals, is excellence trifecta. I had all 3, I lost one, the developing leaders, because when you develop leaders, they have to maintain their title for 3 months. And I've had a couple of team leaders drop, so I lost those points and I have to make them back up. This month I'm promoting 2 team leaders and hopefully, cross my fingers, another director. So that's going to get my points back where I'll have the trifecta in excellence. Okay. Now, when I'm looking at, for me to get trifecta, okay, I need to develop a team leader, 2 team leaders, and a director. And I've already got one that qualified. The other one should qualify any day now. I want to work with them on their party schedule. I want to work with them on their party averages. If their party averages are low, in other words, I know we're all going to have $200 parties. We're all going to have, you know, $900 parties. But if I see somebody pretty much consistently $200, $300, $400 range, to me, there's something going on there. And I do show-based coaching with my team. I say, add me to your parties. Let's see if we can find the missing link, why your averages aren't higher. And then I go in and I literally ask Pam, I pick apart every single thing in that party, be it, are you acknowledging comments? Are you hearting, not liking? Because everybody knows in the Facebook world, should know, blue thumbs up, you don't want to do. You want to coach your host. Do not do blue thumbs up because Facebook picks and chooses then what posts get boost. If you do the red heart, that'll boost your post. If they're acknowledging, are they acknowledging that same day or are they checking in every 2 or 3 days? Okay. Are they writing sentences in comments as opposed to just yay or what have you? Facebook wants sentences. Okay. I also get, I was doing a Get the More from Your Business live like every other month. And what I have since done is I have put that whole presentation PowerPoint in a unit on my team page, because with so many new people coming on, you can find yourself going 50 different directions. And you know you need to do all these things, but you just don't have time to do it. So instead of doing a Get the More every month or every other month, I have put that presentation in a unit on my org page. So every new consultant who signs up can immediately go in and watch that. The Get the More goes through the career plan and fast tracking. So they can concisely see what is there for them to take if they want to achieve fast track or go up the career plan. I do director bound. I used to do director bound a lot more. Now it's kicking back in gear. I do a 4-week director bound program. And I do that about every 6 weeks. I might be bumping that up to literally every month. I kind of get a feel, where the team is, who's around. And we definitely do a director bound if needed. But people on your team need to know what is available to them, because so many new consultants don't know what's out there. I know it took me literally 5 months when I joined to even know about the incentive trip, to even know about excellence. Mary would message me, well, how are you doing on your numbers for excellence? I'm like, what's excellence? They've got too much other stuff to think about. So with new ones, you've got to show them with the Get the More. Hey, I just want to show you all this is out there in this pampered chef world for you to get. Okay. If you want it, I will work with you to get it. And I do it in baby steps. My director bound I did 2 months ago. I have a new gal. She's awesome. And I remember I was going through senior consultant, team leader, director. When I hit team leader, and I said, you have to have 2 active lines, you know, 150, at least 150. You personally have to have 750, and your team has to have 2,500. On the Zoom call, her eyes went like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get there. And I saw that reaction. So when I had my weekly chat with her, because she was new, I broke it into baby steps. And I said, okay, you've got 2 recruits. Let's get you 1 more, this host that's coming up. They've since turned in parties. They've got their 150. And I had to show her it was possible. So between her 2 people and her parties, I mean, she's sitting like at 4,000 now for the team. They believe it when they see it, okay? You have to show it to them because they have no clue that it's possible, or they think, oh my God, this is insurmountable. I can't get to $2,500 with my team for a month. You need to show them that it's possible. And then by doing the stat reports, they will see that, oh my gosh, this happens every month. I guess this isn't a big deal, okay? Now she's like all gung-ho to hit director. So that's kind of what you need. You need to get their mindset in the right place for them to move forward, to get you to move forward, to get the team to move forward. One of the questions was, how do I support my team? I do monthly check-in chats with everyone. If there's somebody that's a performer on the team or that wants to go places, typically it's every week. I check in with them to make sure they're on track to get where they want to go. I also do, I already mentioned show-based training, but I have units in my org page. 1 unit is for new consultants, and it has the basic foundational fundamental stuff, like get your Avery 51660 stickers before your kid arrives and have those stickers ready to put on your catalogs. Our paydays are this and that, and if you submit between the 1st and 15th or the 16th, and things that are not on Dash is what is in this video for people to watch. Some of this stuff is kind of cross-sectioning because I've already mentioned it. I mentioned my business comes first, your business, personal business comes first. Remember, success is contagious. If you are good at your personal business, people see that and they want it. If I do good, others do good. Lead by example. Again, the leader sets the pace of the pack. As for culture, I had a question about developing team culture. Lead by example, do and perform like you want your team to do and perform. I had a chat with Mary, a couple of months before she retired, and I knew I was on the verge of things breaking loose, so to speak, and getting big. She told me culture takes time. Stick with what you're doing, keep moving forward, and it'll catch up. And sure enough, it is. She was right on that. It doesn't happen overnight. It's the repetition of people seeing what this organization they're in is doing. And when they see that this organization is consistent month in, month out, that people are achieving these goals, getting these free products, etc. Hey, Jack, you're supposed to be on a bike ride. So the culture will happen if you develop it. How do I recruit? That's a big one, and I've been specifically asked how I recruit in parties, how I recruit blindly. So Two of my biggest resources for recruiting are my hosts in two different ways. On my host call, I have a spiel I do. I go through, I have like 3 sections to my host call. The middle section, I'm going through the paperwork that I have in the host packet. Once we've gone over the host rewards, then I say, there's a little pamphlet also in there. That's the last piece of paper. And if you notice, it has a picture of 3 starter kits. Now I'm going to say exactly what I say in my host calls, word for word. I say, it shows you a picture of those 3 kits. Now, a purchase of one of those kits is all that is required to be a consultant. And if you notice, there's an orange banner at the bottom of the kits. That is what we call a kit credit coupon. Every host has the opportunity to buy one of these kits at a discount. You can use $25 or $50 of your rewards towards the purchase of one of these kits. So for example, if you applied $50 towards the $99 kit, you're paying $49 for that kit. By the way, this month only until the 15th, we happen to have a 4th kit, which is just a paperwork kit with catalogs and paperwork for $19.80 in honor of our 40th anniversary. And you can actually get that for free and be a consultant for free if you apply $25 towards it, if it's within the time frame. This is the most important part. I say, I have no, and I say it exactly in this voice tone. I say, I have no clue if you're interested in being a consultant. That is not the purpose of this call tonight with you. However, is that something that might interest you? And I shut my mouth, and I have a card right here on my wall for every host call. I listen. Unless I get a very strong no, then I'm writing their name down to follow up with. And I know, okay, the door's open a tad bit, and I can kind of creep in. They'll either start asking questions and we kind of go off on a tangent, or I get a lot of people say, oh, possibly, you know, that might be something I might do. And then I usually just say a couple of comments like, you know, it is a great gig to work from home or anywhere you want on your phone. We have no requirements whatsoever. And I tell them about the 150 in 6 months. But I want to give them the good points. Then what I also have is I have a separate group called Everything You Wanted to Know About Being a Pampered Chef Consultant. And I ask them if they would like to be invited to that. And it has my video that I do at every opportunity event that tells them all the ins and outs of being a consultant. What has happened is with all these kits and all these recruits coming on, I could have an opportunity event every single night. And with so many people in the organization, you know, some people will have 3 people this week, some people will have 2 next week. And I'm like, how do I condense my time so I'm not constantly doing these events? I created this group with the same video I do in opportunity events. So anytime anybody in the organization has somebody that's interested in the business, they can invite them to this group and tag them on that video, and they instantly have the opportunity event information. And I'm finding people, instead of waiting a week to watch the opportunity event and then sign up, people are in and within 24 hours they're signing up. So that has helped a lot in streamlining the recruiting aspect. The other way I recruit is when I'm looking at my personal goals as a director, and if any of you have been in any of the lead programs, you know this. If not, it is the norm for a director to submit at least 8 qualified parties a month and recruit 2 people a month. That's bare bones minimum norm, okay? So if I'm finding that, I'm not getting my 2 right, you know, when I want them. If I get 2 at the beginning of the month, I'm not really that worried about it. Of course, I'm still recruiting, but if I'm getting towards the end of the month and I haven't gotten my 2, I'm looking at my parties and looking at the hosts, and I'm thinking, which host do I want to approach and say, hey, you know, your party's coming up. How would you like to not only have the host rewards, but have the paycheck for it as well? 8 out of 10 of my hosts will say, well, tell me more. And I explain signing up in a way that's beneficial for them, especially now with the 1980 kit. If they invest $19.80, they're going to get a paycheck within 2 to 3 weeks to get their money back. Hands down, no brainer. And that's how I get my second recruit. And then I try to pick somebody that is probably going to work the business, you know, because by then you kind of know the age group where the person works, what they're doing, you know. So that's been another great way for me to recruit. It took me a long time to get to that point. I was one of these that I did not want to give up parties. If that party was on my calendar, I didn't want to give it up to a new consultant. And that was the hardest thing for me to get my brain over. Mary literally chewed me out a couple of times over that, saying, what are you thinking? It's like, because I hadn't experienced the benefit of giving those parties to the new recruits, because it comes back to me tenfold. I know that now. And believe me, I'm in Mary's shoes saying the same thing to people under me. I've got one gal that was so mad because she had to give up a party to somebody. But until she saw the benefits of doing that, you know, all I can say is trust me, you know, the process works. I'm trying to rush through this, guys, here. I've got a lot of questions. Okay, let me just knock them out now. How to get hosts to invite enough guests. Vivian, I think this was your question. Okay, what I do with hosts and having enough people in a party. Before I even have the host coaching call, okay, obviously you've got to friend your host because you have to be friends with them in order to invite them to the Facebook party. I go in, and it has to be done from a computer, not a mobile device. I go into their personal profile, I click friends, and in the top left corner, it'll tell you how many Facebook friends they have, unless their settings are set to private. Most of the time, I can see the number, 850 people. So I write that down. I have a piece of paper on my computer with my party URL, and I have the number of Facebook friends that these people have right off to the side. Because then I know how many potential guests this person is going to have in their party. Now, if they have their privacy settings set where you cannot see the number of friends, what I do before the host coaching call is I simply message them and I say, hey, Sally, you know, I'm getting your party page all set up and everything. Can I ask you to please hop onto your Facebook profile, click friends, and tell me the number it has there of how many Facebook friends you have, because they can see it, it's their profile. And I say, the reason I'm asking this, it determines the platform that I'm using for your party page, meaning group or event, because in an event, we can't invite more than 485. In a group, we can. They don't know that. My purpose is I want to know how many Facebook friends they have. So they think I'm asking a legitimate question, which I am if I'm doing groups and events. They'll always answer me. So then when I have the host coaching call, okay, when I get to the point of inviting, okay, I say, now, I'm going to give you the biggest golden nugget I can give you in this whole entire party for you to have a successful party. And that is, when you invite, do not judge. Invite everyone unless they are dead or deceased, a minor, or a double profile, because a lot of people have 2, 3 profiles. They'll have a personal and a professional or business one. And I say, Don't go through your list and think, oh, that guy up the road, I barely know him. You know, I'm not going to invite him to a Pampered Chef party, or I haven't talked to her in 20 years. I tell them every house, every apartment, every RV has a kitchen. Every human has to cook and eat in some form or another. Mother's Day is coming up. Wedding season is coming up. And right now people can't go shopping, and you've just provided them a great way to order some gifts. And you never know, you don't know what people need in their kitchens at all. And sometimes I get a host that says, well, a lot of my friends don't have money and I'm not going to invite them. And I'll tell them, invite them. Trust me on this, because they're going to invite their friends to your party. And believe me, they'll find the means to buy what they want, as we all know. I say you've got 850 Facebook friends, okay? Invite everyone. Now, with 850, I'd love to see you have at least 750 invited. You can figure 1 in 10 invites will RSVP to the party. We want to shoot for 30 to 50 people going to the party or joining the party for you to have a rockin' party. To get 30 to 50, that takes 300 to 500 people invited. Okay, 1 in 10. And then I've implemented some new things too now, where I'm literally having 80 to 100 people coming into the party. And that's one of the reasons I'm having such high parties, is because I'm finding ways to get more people into the party than just the basic 1 in 10. So when you know how many friends they have, they can't hoodwink you, so to speak. They, you know, if you don't know how many friends they have and they say, okay, I'm done inviting, and you look at the, you know, there's 9 people going to the party, you click invited, you see, oh, she's invited 120. And if you don't know the difference and you think that's all there is, you're not helping your host. Your goal is to make sure the host has a successful party. So if I see 120 people out of 850 invited, I'll explain to the host, you know what, those host rewards, those things you want, don't shoot yourself in the foot. All we are doing is sending out an invite. They have to be proactive if they want to be a part of the party. I had a question too, how often and what do I post on my team page? Pretty much as needed. As something comes up that I need to post something on there. I don't do I can't think of the word to use, but everything I post on the party is relevant, or there is a reason for posting it. A lot of these people, you know, a lot of us are part of a lot of groups, and the more concise I can make the posts on the page for the people, I want it to help them. If it doesn't help them, I'm not going to post it. How do I have such big parties? And I know Tammy, you know, she just had a huge party. Host coaching obviously goes back to number 1. You've got to have a host that listens to you, that does what you say. And just because you say it, explain why you're asking them to do things. Like every day I give my host an engagement post to copy and paste onto the party page. And I explain the reason why we do this is when you post on the party page, not just comment, but when you post on the party page, every single person you invited, all 750 of those people are going to see it. When I post on the page, only the people who have RSVP'd to the party see it. We will literally see every day when you post, we're going to see more people joining the page because they're going to get a notification that, oh, Sally posted on her party. What's this? Because so many people don't know how to check their notifications to see their original invite. A lot of them will come into the party through seeing the host posts on their newsfeed. Enthusiasm is infectious, guys. I'm working with several of my new people on this because I was the same way. I swore I would never go live in a party. I don't like my picture taken. I was, it's like, no way. And how I got into it, I started recording videos and posting the videos until I got more and more comfortable. But if I do a welcome video the night before the party starts. I do a midweek check-in video to remind people, hey guys, there's only 48 hours left in the party. Get your drawing slips in. Hey, if your wish list is getting bigger than your wallet, consider hosting a party. It's a great way to get what you want for free, 50 or 60% off. But when I'm doing this, I'm smiling. I'm excited, okay? I got so many new ones that don't smile, or they're like this, and you guys can tell when somebody's reading a script because their voice is more monotone and they're in reading mode. Even if you have to post the script above, picture yourself talking to somebody, and you've got to convey the emotions. You've got to smile. You've got to be enthusiastic. You just don't sit there and read and tell them information, okay? Make an impact with people. Cross-selling is a big one. Another reason I have big parties, you've got to watch what people are ordering. I know Vivian has talked about this on some of our team meetings in the past. Respond to comments in a timely manner. I tell consultants, because most people have 9-to-5 jobs, so to speak, they don't have time to live on their parties. I get that. But when you go to the bathroom, hop on and scroll through a few posts, respond to people, acknowledge people. This is a job per se. Granted, my goal is to make it a fun way of making money for my consultants. I don't want them to be overwhelmed or burdened, but you do have to do some things. Follow up. Last day of my party, I'm going from the very first post in the party, scrolling, reading every comment, writing down names of anybody who's interested in a product, who has mentioned a product, and I am messaging them or having the host message them. And I check in every time an order is placed. I message the host, party at 85, party at 150, party at 200. Woo, you're qualified. Even if they're on their host dashboard and they can see it, I'm still messaging it to them because I want to get that enthusiasm up for the host to hit a goal. And for example, this month, I want every party over 650 because I want that host to have the extra $100 in free product. And I want to keep that in front of them too, which means the host is going to work a little bit more to get that party up there as well. And I have them share their party link, email it, text it, message it to people that are not active on the party, and make sure your Facebook party page is linked to the Pampered Chef party link. Because if the host is messaging the party link to people, you want those people to click go to Facebook event page so that they can come in to the event page. People want as little clicking as possible. And quite frankly, a lot of people don't know how to get into these party pages, even though they have a notification. A lot of people don't know how to open notifications, or they don't know where to go in groups, or plain and simple, they don't know how to type in the search bar, Sally's Pampered Chef Party. So we try to make it as easy as possible for them, but getting the host involved is huge, as we all know. Somebody asked me, I believe it was Kim asked me, how I teach host coaching to new consultants. What I do is I have a launch party with the new consultant. If the consultant is acting as host, I do the host call with them, but I want them to receive the host coaching call as a host because I want their party to be good. I don't want to overwhelm them and say, take notes on everything I say, because then they're going to miss out on what they need to do as for being a host. So I want them to be a host first and foremost for their launch party. Then their next party they have scheduled, we do a 3-way chat on Messenger with the host. I do the host call, the new consultant's taking notes. I also have a video in my units or on my team page they can watch on how to host coach. I'm updating that actually tomorrow. And then by the third party, they're doing the host coaching call. Okay. It's so important. I want to take that extra time and do that 3 different times with them in different capacities. The first one, they're a host. Second one, they're a consultant. And then the third one, they're doing that on their own. How to get the team to dream big, to be involved. One of the things that I personally learned this year, it's the first time in 4 years I've been a consultant that I have enough local team members that I was able to have an actual personal team meeting at spring launch. Pam and I live close together, and we had people over at my house for spring launch. That is huge, guys, because people get to see the product, they get to chit chat with others, and they get enthusiastic, especially when you say, hey, see all this product, become a director, and you get it usually twice over because you're getting it in the free-for-all and you're getting it as a director. And that got 3 of the people at my spring launch revved up, and they're promoting this month. So that's one thing. To get the more from your biz, I have available 24/7 on the team page for people to watch to get them revved up to want to work up the career plan. And then I help people promote who want to promote step by step. Getting guests to participate in parties. Pretty much one of the things I do, the very first post on my parties, is people to change their notification settings. When I get here that guests aren't participating or nobody's doing anything, okay, it doesn't mean they are not doing it on purpose. You've got to think, what are the reasons why these people may not be participating? And the number one reason I have found is because they have not changed their notification settings for the party page, and they don't know, they haven't seen the posts, so they have no way to interact. So I post the notifications, change your notification settings with 10 bonus entries into the final prize drawing, very first post of the party. I mention it in my welcome video. I have the host now post it the second day of the party, because again, when the host posts, it goes out to everyone. So I beefed up getting the word out, and that has helped immensely get more people in and active on the parties. I also have the host tag people. I tell her to pick her top 20 people that are not already active on the party and tag them on posts. And that brings them into the party page. Every host, as soon as they're done inviting and before I start pre-party, I have a post, I have them copy and paste onto their personal Facebook page. And it's a post that simply says, hey friends, just want you to know I'm having an online Pampered Chef party that starts Sunday and runs for the week. I just sent out invites. Check your notifications if you want to go. And then I put the party link in there. And they post that on their personal page. That's the only thing I give them for their personal page. We get a ton of people in that way because people, again, don't know how to check their notifications. And again, obviously, it's important for the host to post at least once a day. I give them an engagement post every day, and I encourage them to post. If they're having coffee in the morning, checking their posts, say, hey, good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing good. How to get bookings. This one can be very open-ended. I wasn't sure if that meant getting bookings from parties or etc. But as I tell people, they have nothing to lose and free product to gain. And on the parties, I post at least twice that when the host gets 3 or more parties booked from theirs, they start receiving gifts. 3 or more qualified parties, that is. And the host doesn't get the gifts until after the parties are held and qualified. And typically when I do that, her friends or their friends want to help them. So they'll say, oh, I'll book a party to help Sally. Cool. Knowing that party has to be qualified for Sally to get the benefit from it. Lately, it's overcoming objections. If somebody, just this morning, I had one that says, I was walking with Sarah, who is the current host, and I think I want to book a party in a few months. Okay. So I'm thinking, cool, another booking. So I sit down and I think, how can I concisely respond to this in as few words as possible to get her to book the party on my next available date I have open instead of a few months from now, okay? So I said, great, you know, blah, blah, blah. I said, may I ask why you said a few months from now? Because sometimes there is a legitimate reason, you know, some people travel or they're out of country. She came back and said, you know, well, just to give people a break from, you know, buying things, since they're buying things in Sarah's party right now, I want to give them a break. I said, cool, thanks for answering that. I said, so I get this a lot, but let me ask you, out of all your Facebook friends, okay, do you have a lot of common friends with Sarah? And she came back and she goes, we have 3. I say, okay, so you've got all your Facebook friends who are not part of this party. And why not book now? And she's like, oh, you're right. You know, people just think because their neighbor's having a party, they want to wait and have one, but you've got to think, who's going to be the guests? Who's going to be the audience in this party? And I explained, there's always going to be 2 or 3, you know, that go from one party to the next. But the other 500 people you've got are brand spanking new. And she's like, okay, what's your next available date? And so I booked that party, okay? The other objection most in the last 5 weeks is, you know, my friends are off work, you know, they're not getting a paycheck, and with this virus going on, I said, now is the perfect storm, perfect time to book. Obviously, you guys have heard this a lot in the last few weeks, but I try to put my own spin on it, in that some of you have heard this story too. Williams-Sonoma stock has gone up 30% since this virus hit. And guess what? People who buy Williams-Sonoma, because people are home, they're cooking more, they don't have an option for the first year to use that product, and if they're not happy with it, to return it for a full refund. We do. They don't have a person they can call and ask questions of. We do. They don't have a person that they can call and say, hey, what's your websites? Because I want to go in and hit that database of 1,000 recipes of how to use my deep covered baker. We do. Usually that gets them to say, okay, let's do it. And I say, you have nothing to lose. Let's say, when I tell them, I'm not a high pressure salesperson whatsoever. Okay. Let's at least just get your friends together for a distraction and fun, and give them some recipes to cook, and, you know, let's go to your pantry and see what we can throw together for dinner tonight, that type of thing. Play some games, get their mind off of it. And by then, usually they're, oh, okay. Not realizing I'm not going to tell them, hey, party sales are booming right now, because they're going to start feeling guilty about approaching their friends to order. Okay. I want to take the spin away from that. And then when their party hits $1,000, they're like, oh my God. It's like, yep, told you so. Sometimes I ask hosts, potential hosts, just trust me, please. Please trust me. I know what I'm doing. And sometimes that's what it takes. I already went over that. I went over monthly incentives. I went over training videos. I have hit everything that people have asked me questions on. So I'm going to unmute everybody, and If anybody has questions, I tried to make this concise because I wanted to keep it under an hour, because I could easily talk for a lot.
Hey, Allison.
Hey, Michelle.
I do have a quick question. So when you have your host inviting the 700 people or whatever on their Facebook group, are they going to the group and event and using the invite feature, or do you have them personally messaging the guests to invite them?
The way that I do it, I have never in my whole career had them individually message people, okay? The way I do it is I ask them, are you inviting on a mobile device or a computer? Or I ask them, do you have access to a computer? I say for purposes of inviting, try to do it from a computer. Number one, it's safer. Because if you're on a mobile device, I tell them, I'm kind of doing a side note here. I tell them, make sure if you're inviting on a mobile device, you do it from one location. In other words, have your invites done by Friday afternoon. You can do some today, some tomorrow, whatever, but do it from one location, such as home. Don't do some from home, some from the grocery store, some from work, because the mobile devices are pinging off of different cell towers. Facebook is getting you inviting people from different IP addresses, and that throws up a huge risk for Facebook jail. But the way if they have a computer, is when you're looking at the party page over on the right, it says invite members with a box. I say, forget that. Don't even look at it. I say, go up under the banner. I'm going to have to do a caveat here. I can already tell. Under the banner, there's a box that says ... more. And you click that. And it brings a drop-down menu, and the first one is invite members. When you click that, it brings up a pop-up box with a box to put it says put email or person's name. Take your cursor and click in that, and your friends list pops up. All you have to do is double click, and I have people invite no more than 5 people at a time. That's the rule, 5 and 5 rule for Facebook. I have them double click 5 people to add in that box, then they click invite. Then they go back, do that again, click their next 5. That's the ultimate way how I have people invite. Now, some people have their settings where they cannot receive invites to groups. Then I will have them share, yes, the link with them to come in that way and ask permission to join the group. I said a caveat. As you may have seen, Facebook rolled out 2 weeks ago a brand new version of Facebook on the computer. And at the very top, there's a toggle switch. It says, would you like to try the new version of Facebook? From what I've read and seen, people hate it. It is not user-friendly, especially with inviting. I had a host call me and she goes, I don't know how to invite. Because she said she was familiar with Facebook. She understood the ... more under the banner. She goes, I don't have that. How do I invite people? I said, by chance, did you switch over to the new Facebook? She goes, I don't think so. Well, somehow, some way she did. And I personally, I know nothing about the new Facebook. I haven't seen it, haven't tried it, but apparently there's a red star dot, some way to invite people to groups that I'm not familiar with. I say, toggle back to classic. Go back to the classic Facebook. And from what I've read in other groups, that's what people are having people do when they invite us, go to the classic version. Now, granted, I guess eventually, I don't know if this is a test run on a new Facebook platform, or if this is the new way is going to be the way it's going to be in the future. I have no clue. I'm not up to speed on that. So I don't know how that'll affect things. Did that answer your question, Michelle?
Yeah, so they go to like more, like where you would go in and change the web address for the group and stuff. Is that the more you're talking about? Okay, yeah. And then thank you for making me lunch. My 5-year-old made me lunch.
Aww.
Invite members, pop-up box, double click 5 at a time. So they do 5, and then do they take a break, or do they do 5 and then do 5 more?
I call it the 5 and 5 rule. Invite no more than 5 people with a 5-second pause in between. And I say, I know that sounds weird, but by the time you click your 5 people in there and then click invite, then go back and choose your next 5, the 5 seconds is up. So you don't have to worry about. And I'm sure there's an easy way on mobile. I don't use my phone that much for anything because it's so small and I'm constantly hitting the wrong things. I use my tablet and my computer a lot. So I'm not that savvy when it comes to mobile Facebook on doing things. I know there's been a huge issue with my parties since Sunday morning that people are placing orders and they're not coming in from mobile devices, especially the iPhone 10. I've narrowed it down because most of these people have iPhone 10s. And I'm sure we've all got it where people are putting an order and it won't let them put the state in on their order. So one of the things is turn the phone horizontal, but apparently iPhone 10s and other iPhones, autocorrect is on and you have to go in and turn it off. Well, that's we don't want our guests to have to go through all that. It has worked in the past where I have them sign out, back all the way out, get out of your internet browser, shut it down because of the cookies and memory and stuff, and then come back in and try it again. That's not even working. I've had like 8 orders just in the last 2 days that it won't let me place an order. And it seems to be the iPhone 10s or something to do with iOS. I'm sure tech support's aware of it, with as many people that we have scream the first time it doesn't happen, I'm sure they're going to hear about it. So anything?
Yeah, I had that a couple of times this week too. I had 2 guests that couldn't order and I had no idea why. So that helps. Thank you.
Yeah. And of course I say, hey, I'm happy. I friend them immediately, shoot them a message. I'm happy to take your order here, or hop on the phone and I'll enter it for you. Because I had 2 of them and orders were like $300-400 orders. And one of them was getting really kind of ticked off. So I kind of wanted to neutralize that real quick. It's like, I don't want frustrated guests. I'm just hoping tech support is aware of this because something's going on when I get 6 people in one day that say, it won't let me place the order. And a lot of people don't have computers. I thought everybody had computers. Granted, a smartphone is a computer, but any other? Yeah.
Hey, I'm closing out a fundraiser for the Feeding America Disaster Relief. And I actually have a girlfriend of mine and her mom who want to donate $175. They didn't want to buy a product. They just want to donate. And so I'm trying, first of all, I won't let you donate more than $99.99. But when I called home office this morning, she said, just order a Season's Best cookbook and then you can just add that. So I'm going to have to make a couple of orders. So in case y'all run into that, I've never had anybody just want to donate money and not order anything. So anyway, just kind of FYI.
I wonder though, instead of 15%, obviously, of that money, 100% of that money is probably going to go
right.
Roundup.
Good, because it'll be under Roundup. Yeah.
I've had issues with Roundup where I've tried to put amounts in there and it won't take it. It keeps going back to 0. I get so frustrated with it because I would love to be one of these top people in the company that has the most submitted for Roundup. I have never once been able to get that to work for me. I cannot put in extra when I do it. The guests can do it on their end, but when I do it on my end, it won't let me round up. Or if a guest adds to their order and they've rounded up and I change it, it'll revert back to 0 and I can't change the roundup amount.
Wow.
And I don't know how to get around that. Maybe Kathy does. You've been around more than...
Into it a couple of times, and if I remember, and I don't do it that often, it had something to do with the payment. I want to say payment was already in there, but if I hadn't added the payment, I could do it. But I'm not sure if that was because literally it's got to be at least a year. But it was something. There was a way to do it.
Doesn't help because then if we delete the payment, we're going to have to call the person and get their card. Yeah.
Yeah, it was strange.
Interesting. That makes sense, though.
Yeah, there was a way that you could put it in, but I think, and again, it's been at least 2 years since I've done it, so it has to be, you know me, it has to be in front of me, and I have to play with it and delete it and play with it, and, and then I forget what I do.
Anything else? Michelle, did I cover all your questions we chatted about? Because I was furiously writing the other day when we chatted.
Yeah, I think so. I've got to go back and watch the first 10 minutes because I was in the middle of a little bit of a homeschool debacle. But other than that, I think so. Yeah. I'm sure I'll have more, but that was my biggest thing was surprisingly my last 2 parties were over $1,000. But yeah. So anyway, I just try and figure out what I'm forgetting to do or not doing, and that helped a lot. The changing of the invites is huge because I was just coaching people to get 30 people to the group. So that change is going to be huge.
To get 30, if 1 in 10 go, that means at least 300 people invited. Yeah. Typically, and that statistic holds true. On all my parties, if you look 9 times out of 10, when you look at it, how many people have actually joined the group versus how many people invited, it'll be right around 1 in 10. That is a spot on statistic. I'm just hoping, I'm kind of seeing a mind shift in people with, it's not per se quarantine, but the stay at home and the changing of life. I am seeing stress levels in people come way down, just even in their voices and then in their mannerisms. And I'm seeing people starting to like what's happening, more family time, less running around and hectic. You know, the kids aren't going to sports and moms aren't running 20 different directions. But I'm hearing chit chat too that people are liking this, you know, the game time with the family and stuff, that to be aware of when life does go back to normal or we're not having to stay home, make the choice to stay home more and be present with family, which I foresee that being a benefit and a boom to us. I've had so many people comment, it's like, you know, I never cooked before and I've been cooking the last 4 weeks and my family's starting to like some of my creations. Okay, boom, we've just converted somebody, you know, to be with us for quite a while.
I have to tell you, my brain is hurting from all this information.
Seriously? See, you know, it's like, I start thinking, why is people asking me questions? But I mean, if I can say something that helps people, I'm happy to do it.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, and I kind of have to go back and listen. You know, like we were in Empower last week, Alison, you and I. And I seriously pulled up the video to go back and listen to it again, because as much as you listen and as much as you write something down, and as many times as you have heard it and reheard it, just something clicks one time that might not have clicked the other time.
Or you hear the same thing from somebody different. And
right.
Oh, I always say I'm invisible. I always say I'm invisible.
You know, one of the things, I'm waiting for Kristen Wyringa to get back to me on a couple of things. I am trying to streamline my onboarding, not only for me, my sanity, but Pam and Tammy and the other directors on our team. Granted, we've got Dash, and what I say is you do the first 10 tasks in Dash, and as well as watch the new consultant video on the team page, which is a half-hour long. And then we have our call. So I get their calendars in order and get their launch party set up. Kristen Wyringa, what she does, she's a national executive director up in Seattle, Washington, just north of me. She used to live close to me. When she gets somebody on board, she goes schedule 4 parties every week for the first 4 weeks. But there's the missing link that I've got to find out from her. They don't have somebody do a launch party for them. I want to know how she's getting her new consultants to learn how to do the virtual party. If she's got like a training video that walks them through it, or I know she does PMP, so she might just be sharing a template. I did PMP for a little bit years ago. I hated the time factor that you had to invest with Post My Party. I didn't like the fact that I couldn't do just part of the party and then come back and do it later. I am not one to share templates I'll share templates with my team members. But the other thing too is I've always been, I call myself the rogue, in that, I don't know who that background noise is coming from, but I've always done my own thing. I've rarely, if ever, do themes, because if I'm running a 5-day party, to stay on one theme, and if I've got 50 people in a party, how many of those people want to see this theme versus how many people want to see the oldies but goodies? My parties have everything in them, where everybody can pick and choose and take what they want. And I'm going to focus on the big hitters. If I get a bite, like a fish hook on the cool and serve, and say, oh my God, that looks so cool and stuff. Okay, I know tonight I'm going to post my magic word video on the cool and serve, so people can see me playing with it. My magic videos, just like a live show, whatever you usually take and demo at a live show, people buy. Every live show, the garlic press and the whipped cream maker, I can pretty much guarantee is going to be on everybody's order unless they already have it. Same with the magic video. I am finding whatever I'm doing in there immediately within 24 hours. About half the people in the party are buying it.
Okay, so now I have another question. So when you say
time's up.
when you say you don't have a template that you follow and you post a little bit of everything, how do you organize it so that it doesn't seem like complete chaos?
Mm-hmm. I kind of do that in my head. For example, every morning, my routine for my posting, every morning, first post is an engagement post, be it a game or a drawings form later in the party. Second morning post is a video. Typically, it's a breakfast related, like how to do breakfast casseroles to put in your freezer right now. Or I don't come out right off the bat with the waffle puff pan, because especially at the beginning of a party, because people say, oh my God, that's cool. And they go in and look at it and they see it's $65 and they're like, oh shit, this stuff's expensive. I'm not going to pay attention to this party. I'll do the ceramic egg cooker. You kind of have to think of the psychology of it. And then midday is typically static posts, because most of the time under normal circumstances, people don't have a lot of time to watch videos on their lunch break. So I'll do quick engaging posts such as the sales that we've got going this month, the enrichables and the $20 sets. Mother's Day is coming up. You've got time to order them for Mother's Day, and I have a Mother's Day graphic. Then the evening is for my big videos and the big items. I typically, first one is a magic word. I do 3, sometimes 4 of those per party. If I get no response on a party by my second magic word, I take those out. I don't even, it's like, I'm not even going to, this is valuable real estate on the party, and I want to make the most. And if people aren't responding to the magic words, I know they're seeing it, but they may not be engaging. I might shoot to do something else. And then like the first night is the air fryer. Second night's the deluxe cooking blender. Third night's the quick cooker. And then I watch for bites, like the quick cooker. Usually you'll get the Instapot people. Well, do your items fit in ours? And then that's where I go into a sideshow on, is yours 6 quart or bigger? Every single one of our accessories for our quick cooker has the dimensions in the description. If you don't know how many quarts your IP is, measure it. Like the spring form pan is 7 1/4 inches. so you know if it'll fit or not. And guess what? We have a satisfaction guarantee. If you get that and it doesn't fit, you can send it back for a full refund or an exchange. You know, I want people to try our stuff because they can get their money back.
Okay, so you do breakfast and then a static post with sales and such, and then your magic word, and then anything else. So you're only posting like 4 to 5 times a day?
I post 9 times a day. I do 3 in the morning, 3 midday, 3 in the evening, and they're 10 to 12 minutes apart in the morning, midday, and evening. I usually post at 7 a.m., 12:30 p.m. This time of year, I post at 7:30 p.m. In fall, winter, usually it's around 7. And then, of course, interspersed in there, I'll put the thank you for your orders. You're entered into the early bird prize drawing. Yeah, and then I always have the host do the engagement post at 3 p.m. I don't want them to do it in the morning because most people are on Facebook in the evening. I can't believe how big he is getting. Oh my gosh, I just realized he's going on a year old because he was just born when we were in Arizona last year. I just realized that.
He is 13 months today. 13 months.
Oh, wow. I had that. I can always tell how old he is. But I have no set template. I've never have. Obviously it's switched up every month, but I don't switch it for every single party. If I have parties booked from parties and they're within a couple of weeks, I bring up the old party because I don't want, if there's any cross guests, etc., I don't want them playing the same games. You know, I change up the games and I'll change up the posts. Then I also go with my gut and know the audience I'm posting to. Or they retire, like right now, I have a party in a 55 plus community in Arizona, and these people are on the wealthier side. Okay, I know what I'm focusing with for them. And then I have another party going that are 30 somethings and they all have kids and they're running around like chickens with their head cut off, you know, trying to find easy ways to get meals on the table. Sometimes I'll switch them up between parties, but most times not. Okay, nice to see you. It's recorded, so.
Bye, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
I was gonna say 1:30, it's only 10:20.
No.
In fact, I've got to look at my schedule here too. No, I'm doing okay. I kind of go with what I feel the audience would like, per se, based on, you know, if I've got a 20-something, I'm not going to be showing them expensive stuff. I'm going to be showing them starter kitchen stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then typically what I do with my new consultants, they run their launch party. They can use that as a template. And then if, let's say in March, the last week of March, I ran a launch party for a new consultant. Okay, they've got their party to look at, you know, to copy from. But April, okay, I'm changing things out to be different from March. I will add them, invite them to that party so they can see the differences and changes and know and have the choice of what they want to post. I tell my new consultants, make the parties your own. Just because I posted it, you don't have to post it. But if you're not comfortable changing them up and you want to stick with what I did, fine. Copy and paste what I did. If you want to get a little adventurous, you know, I show them where to go to get videos. I have them already start downloading static images to build up their image library. You know, some people just stick with, okay, I'm not going to deviate from what Allison did. And others are just like, you know, they're out there on Canva, they're creating stuff. It's like, Okay, whatever works for you. And that's that's why I do show-based coaching. New consultants invite me to their parties until I say, okay, you're good to go. Because what I see in some new consultants is their quantity over quality. And I am very much the opposite. I am very much quality over quantity. I've got one gal that is doing consistently 5 parties a week. And I keep saying, you're throwing mud at the wall, seeing what sticks. And these parties are barely qualifying. She's all excited. She's got all these parties. I say, let's focus. Wouldn't you rather, hypothetical, have one $1,500 party or 4 $200 parties? You tell me, what would you rather have? Because at first glance, most people say, well, I'd rather have the 4 parties. But when you say, no, I'd rather have the one at 1,500 than 4 at 200. I said, okay, stretch out, don't book so many at once, and let's focus on how you can get the quality of these parties up where your sales are up higher. And it has worked.
So I have a question. You don't use Post My Party. Do you use another posting system?
Facebook scheduler.
Oh, schedule. Okay.
Yeah, it's free. I mean,
yeah. Well, I'm just going to tell you, I still manually post. I do Facebook events, but Kathy's got me convinced that just I don't want to create a business, group page, but I have a VIP group page. But she does hers. She just creates a group for the party, and she posts, that way.
And granted, events, you can't do automated posting. And
right.
Even though I use Facebook Scheduler, I only use it for time zones different from mine. I manually post because I'm here. It's
right.
like
me too.
It's like I can post, set my timer 10 minutes later. Okay, post,
right.
post. But like next week, I've got 3 East Coast shows. I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. to do the post. So I will schedule those out the night before.
Yeah.
But I manually post the midday ones.
Right. Okay. Okay.
By the way, there's a new scheduler called Hello Woofy, WOOFY.
What?
Like Woofy, like a dog, WOOFY. Hey.
Okay.
And it does post to events, it posts to Instagram, it posts to Facebook groups, timeline pages, business pages, it does all the things. And if you're in Brenda Stirs, any of her sweet groups, Sassy Sweet, I think she has a coupon code where you get it for like one price for the lifetime of your subscription. It's like $49.
So let me ask you, Michelle, because we know Facebook has to go through these third-party permissions and allowing certain companies to do third-party posting on events. How is it that Hello Woofy can get away with posting on events automatically, but no other?
It's I just read about it. I think it was last night. And I'm not sure how. I don't know if they've gone through all the hurdles with Facebook. I don't know.
But that's
I don't know how they did it. But
since
share, yep.
We used to post on events with those.
Yep.
You would think those.
No, I don't know. I don't know if it's the way they did it or if they bought some type of rights or what they did, but you can post to just about anything with that, and they're working right now on being able to post to Pinterest automatically too.
So let me ask you, I don't know if you're familiar with it enough yet, but do you have to do like the whole party post in order to schedule it, or can you just schedule out the next day, the night before?
That I have no idea because I haven't joined it. I'm debating on taking advantage of the lifetime membership for the $49 or just to wait and keep doing what I'm doing. Because I have eliminated like all the things. So like all the extra expenses, but if I do it for $49 and it's a lifetime. So I haven't decided. I haven't decided whether I'm doing it or if I'm just going to keep doing it the way I'm doing it now. But I know that the scheduler can really, really help me because when I'm not quarantined, I'm normally not home ever.
Well,
So
the post my party that I hated was literally, it was like 2 to 3 hours of having to sit in one place and get this done. Now, if there's an automated scheduler where I can schedule like 24, 48 hours ahead, I would love that. That'd be awesome.
I know all your parties are different to some extent, but maybe even if you just went in and only scheduled like your basic posts as a template, and then the ones that you find yourself changing up more often than not, you can not schedule those and do those manually, or do those as a separate, I don't know. There's got to be a system that you can do for that to save you the time.
I'm going to check into this. Thank you for bringing that up. You're like our app guru. You and Pam.
And the lifetime deal is only good for another 13 hours.
13 hours?
Yeah, and you just go on their site, hellowoofy.com, and they have it right there. You don't need a coupon.
I bet you they're gonna, but the thing is, there's got to be a place where you can go in where it says learn more and learn how it works before you commit to paying them.
A lot of times places like that will have a free 30 days or free something. I didn't, I just looked it up real quick just to see what the price was. So I don't know.
And what is it a month
Cool.
if you do it by the month?
Well, it's saying the $49, you're going to save $3,000. So I don't know.
So it doesn't give you a monthly fee?
I just looked it up for the lifetime thing, but I'm guessing it's probably maybe $10 a month to be 3,000. I'm scrolling through and I'm not seeing any pricing, but that's normal with these things.
Probably because they want their $49 to hook you. But I don't know. It's a good deal, but it's like, I want to know all the answers to my questions first before. Now, Michelle, another thing we can check into too is see if one of us gets a Hello Woofy account, how many users can you have on that account? Is it just one user, or is it something we can share?
It says 9 team members.
Well, if we can have 9 team members and the 4 of us go in and pay $10 a piece.
It says 25 social accounts, which is no big deal, and up to 9 team members.
Look at Michelle. She's
exactly
like,
what they mean.
Michelle. I love it. I love it. That might be the way to do it then, to try it out, because then if we decide we don't like it, we're only out like $10, even though we have the lifetime warranty. Lifetime.
You need your money back in 30 days if you're not happy.
I didn't hear that, Pam.
You get your money back in 30 days if you're not happy with it.
Oh.
Worth looking into.
Yeah.
There is a video on how it works. It's a 1-minute video, so I don't know how much you can find out about it in 1 minute, but there is a video here. I'll go do some snooping and see what I find.
Even Pam, for our teams, it might be worth doing. Huh. Okay, what other secrets do you have under your sleeve, Michelle? Or up your sleeve?
This one was only new as of yesterday, so.
Well, Allison, thank you so much for your time and answering questions. Like I said, my head's so full, and I have like pages of written notes here. So.
Can I ask honestly, because I don't do this for ego purposes at all. In fact, I told Michelle I feel a little weird when I put out that invite, because I didn't want people to think, oh, come and learn what I do. That's not where I'm coming from. But did this help? Did I give any information that helped?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then,
oh yeah. Yes.
Because sometimes I got to be told, shut your mouth. We don't want to hear you.
And sometimes it's a matter of getting other people's perspectives on how they do their business. Something you may like, something you may not. But I've found a couple of things that I'll definitely be working on to implement. So, thank you so much.
Cool.
As always.
No problemo. I just felt bad because some people were trying to schedule calls with me and we could never get hooked up. And
right. No, well, thank you so much.
Well, you are most welcome. I'm going to turn off the recording here.